If the moon began its terminal descent toward Earth tonight, you wouldn't see a sudden collision. You wouldn't feel a giant impact. Instead, you would watch the sky literally catch fire as the moon is torn into a billion glowing shards by the invisible hands of gravity.
Before the first piece even touched our soil, our world would already be a graveyard. If you think the crash is the end of the story, you've missed the most terrifying part of the physics. Welcome to Deep Science Explained.
For 4 billion years, the moon has been our silent guardian, the steady hand that stabilized our tilt and pulsed our tides. We take its distance for granted, but that distance is the only thing keeping the Earth's crust from turning into a liquid sea of magma.
By the end of this video, you will understand the brutal reality of the Roche Limit, the invisible line in space where celestial bodies go to die.
We are going to explore the Magma Tides, the atmosphere's incineration, and the beautiful, haunting transformation of Earth into a ringed planet like Saturn. This isn't just a disaster scenario. It is a deep dive into the fundamental laws of physics, explained through the lens of our most intimate cosmic neighbor.
This is about the gravity that binds you to your world and what happens when that bond becomes a weapon. By the time we are done, you will look at the night sky and realize that the piece we see up there is a fragile mathematical illusion.
Here's where it gets even stranger. If the moon were pushed toward us, the first thing you'd notice wouldn't be in the sky, it would be at your feet. Gravity isn't a single point of pull, it's a gradient.
As the moon gets closer, the pull on the side of the Earth facing it becomes significantly stronger than the pull on the far side. We call these tidal forces.
Right now, they move our oceans by a few meters, but as the moon halves its distance, those tides don't just double, they grow exponentially. We're talking about 3-kilometer-high walls of water moving at the speed of sound.
But this is the part nobody tells you. Gravity doesn't just pull on water, it pulls on the rock. The Earth's crust would begin to bulge and crack under the strain. Imagine the ground beneath your house rising and falling by hundreds of feet every few hours.
This is deep science at its most violent, the literal stretching of a planet. Every fault line would scream to life simultaneously. The Earth would become a ringing bell of volcanic eruptions and magnitude 15 earthquakes.
But here's where it gets crazy. You might be waiting for the big thud, the moment of impact, but the moon would never make it that far. Every celestial body has a Roche limit, a kill zone where the tidal forces of a planet become stronger than the gravity holding the moon together.
For the Earth and Moon, this limit is about 18,000 kilometers away. As the moon crosses this invisible line, it would be physically unable to hold its shape. It would stretch into an egg, then a cigar, and then it would simply shatter.
Imagine looking up and seeing the familiar craters and plains of the moon disintegrating into a swirling vortex of white-hot dust and debris. This is the science explained that most movies get wrong.
The moon doesn't hit us as a ball, it hits us as a storm. But before the debris falls, the moon has one more trick to play on our atmosphere.
As the moon's fragments begin to rain down, they have to pass through our air. Right now, small meteors burn up and create shooting stars, but we are now talking about trillions of tons of lunar rock.
The friction would be so intense that the atmosphere wouldn't just heat up, it would turn into a plasma. The sky would glow with the light of 1,000 suns.
This is the mind-bending science of compression heating. Before a single piece of the moon hits the ground, the surface of the Earth would be baked. Forests would spontaneously ignite. The oceans would begin to boil away into a thick, choking fog. Did you know that the energy released from this descent would be equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs detonating every second in the upper atmosphere? You wouldn't be crushed by rock. You would be evaporated by the air itself.
But let's look at the awe moment in this destruction. Not all of the moon would fall. Physics dictates that a large portion of that lunar debris would enter a stable orbit. For the survivors, if there were any in deep underground bunkers, the sky would undergo a permanent transformation. The Earth would now have a ring system, just like Saturn. A shimmering, iridescent band of pulverized moon dust, reflecting the sunlight, stretching from horizon to horizon. It would be the most beautiful thing the human eye has ever seen, and the most tragic.
Those rings would cast massive shadows over the Earth, plunging entire continents into a permanent winter. The deep science explained here is a bitter irony. The very thing that destroyed our civilization would leave behind a crown of celestial jewelry.
But here is where everything breaks. Without the moon to act as our stabilizer, the Earth's tilt would go haywire. The moon's gravity keeps our axis steady at 23.5 degrees. Without it, or with the chaotic pull of a new ring system, the Earth would begin to wobble violently.
The North Pole could end up facing the sun, then swinging away into total darkness over just a few centuries. We would lose our seasons. Our climate would become a chaotic lottery.
This is the cosmic mystery of stability. We think of the moon as an ornament, but it is actually the gyroscope of our world. Without it, the Earth isn't just a ringed planet. It's a lost, tumbling rock. So, here is the reveal. The mystery we started with, the idea of a crash, isn't a story about an ending. It's a story about the unity of space. We think of the Earth and Moon as two separate things, but physics, explained at this level, shows they are a single gravitational system.
You cannot move one without destroying the other. The crash is simply the universe trying to bring two parts of a whole back together. This gives us a goosebumps moment of cosmic perspective. We feel so secure on our solid ground, but we are actually living on a delicate mathematical tightrope.
The moon is currently moving away from us at 3.8 centimeters a year. Our guardian is slowly leaving us. If it did the opposite, it wouldn't be an attack. It would be a messy, violent homecoming.
You aren't just a person on a planet. You are a passenger on a 4-billion-year-old balanced equation. The fact that the moon stays exactly where it is, that is the real miracle.
The moon crashing into Earth is a nightmare of gravity, but it reminds us that everything in the universe is connected by invisible threads. It reminds us that our stability is a gift from the void.
And if you think the moon's destruction is terrifying, wait until you see what happens when a star 10 times the size of our sun enters our solar system and doesn't hit anything, but simply passes through.
Tell me in the comments, which part of this video broke your brain the most? Was it the 3-kilometer tides or the idea of Earth having Saturn-like rings? I read every single comment, and I want to know your theory on how humanity could survive the Roche Limit.
Make sure to subscribe to Deep Science Explained to keep your eyes open to the scale of the world. The balance is held. Let's appreciate the silence while it lasts.